Hey, Will, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Hey, coming out of that weekend, especially I guess with the way your bullpen pitched, how did you kind of feel like it could have gone? I guess, and guys kind of handled roles and when they were thrown in on a 4 day weekend like that.
Yeah, I thought our guys handled the situation pretty well. We the big part of it was on Saturday. On the doubleheader day, we got two really good starts, so that allowed us to kind of hit the reset button a little bit, knowing that we'd go into Sunday and want to use a bunch of guys and have some guys that we needed to see, but also we felt like we're going to be good matchups and help us win. So it ended up working out. I mean, honestly, the way we drew it up on Sunday, we knew, Buns was going to be fairly limited. Hopefully, get off to a good start with him, and we knew that there's going to be a ton of guys that we were going to throw from that point forward. And I thought they handled themselves well. All the newcomers didn't really blink at the situation at all. Some of the guys that maybe had limited roles last year, I thought came in and did a nice job. I think Diedrich really did a nice job there, right behind Buns, just giving us some stable an inning there, and then handing it off to the next group of guys.
I guess you could kind of approach the 4 game weekend differently with that kind of fourth extra game, I guess. I mean, are you guys going to kind of look at it as more of a bullpen day, or is that going to kind of change, series to series when you run into that?
Yeah, it could change, and like I said, once Buns starts to build up a little bit more as well, he may have an opportunity to go a little bit deeper into games. So, um, I feel good about the depth that we added on the mound. A bunch of guys that again what they did is they threw strikes, and we had some jams there, some pretty big spots in the sixth through the eighth innings there where the game was totally in balance. And we gave up a couple of hits, but we threw strikes. I mean, we didn't give them a ton of free base runners. And with our defense, we feel like that we're going to turn double plays. We're pretty athletic. We're going to give ourselves a shot if we just throw the ball over the plate.
Evan Bland.
Hey, well, can you put in perspective how difficult it is as a true freshman hitter to come in and make an impact right away in college games and what it takes to do that consistently?
Yeah, it takes a combination of talent, mindset, preparation, and you got to have a good swing too. That helps. Because that it gives you a lot of margin for error with a lot of different types of pitches and velocities and locations. All those things play into it, and we felt really comfortable. I mean, we had whole freshman right side of the infield on Sunday on a game where we need to go win a series, and felt good about it. Those guys are mature. They're cut from a different cloth. We haven't seen them let any situation get too big for them in any point in time that they've been here. And throwing those guys into the fire and seeing them respond the way they did was very impressive. But it's there's going to be the failure involved as well. I expect those guys to handle that with the maturity that they've shown so far. But yeah, I mean, Max hitting a home run in his first at bat and then continuing to collect hits over the course of the weekend. And then what I loved was he took his walks on Sunday. He's an aggressive hitter, but they were kind of pitching around him a little bit there, and he took his walks. So, just very mature approaches up and down.
And then, in a broader sense, with those newcomers, with the JUCO guys too, what do those guys all bring off the field, personality wise? How do they kind of add, their identity to this group?
Yeah, I mean, and when we're going through the recruiting process, you're not just looking for the talent. If you can have a collection of talent and not having a winning formula, if you have a bunch of guys that just play as individuals and just trying to get theirs constantly. I think the thing that all those guys bring to the table is a selflessness. They're just willing to do what it takes to help the team. I mean, you get a guy like Ephraim lays down 2 sack bunts in one game, and he's fired up, to get the bunts down to set up a chance to a scoring opportunity for the team. And Everett, we ask him to put down a bunt. Probably something he hasn't done a whole lot of in his career up to this point, and gets it done and is excited to get it done for the team. And, Fry, we're going to move all over the field defensively, and he's not going to ask questions. He's just going to go do what it takes. And I think that's just a big part of it, is just the group of guys that we have are willing to sacrifice to do what it takes for the betterment of the team. And when you're going through the process of recruiting, the talent's obviously got to be there. You feel like, they got to have the talent to help you win, but then the intangibles come into play as well. What does it look like day to day for them? Are they hard workers? Are they willing to sacrifice for the team, basically? And all those guys up to this point have shown that, it may not be perfect all the time. They're going to work hard. They're going to play hard, and they're going to play for their teammates. And that's a huge part of it.
Chris Bassinet.
Yeah, well, does preparation change at all going up to play in the football stadium this weekend, playing indoors? Does that change how you guys approach it? And I guess what are your thoughts on having the opportunity to do that this weekend?
Yeah, it doesn't really change a whole lot. We've actually been outside this week. Our field has been ready. So we've been outside this week. I mean, we've practiced on turf every day for 2 months leading up to this week. So we'll get a chance to practice there on Thursday night when we get into town. Just kind of see the configuration and how things work, and seeing balls live off the bat in BP, and how the turf plays. Not all turf's created equal. Some plays slower, some plays really fast. From what I understand, maybe this turf is a little bit slower, which is a bit like Hawks Championship Center turf. I would say that's probably how that one plays as well. So, we haven't really changed preparation this week. We'll just have a chance to go out and practice tomorrow night when we get there.
Back to Michael Bruns.
Will, was that a pretty good example, I guess, of what Spencer's shown on the mound since he's been pitching for you guys?
Yeah, that's what we've seen. I mean, every time he's taken the ball, he's a strike thrower. He's got 3 pitches, fastball command. It's just an effortless delivery. I mean, it's a repeatable delivery from a good athlete with a great arm. And yeah, it's no different than what we've seen each time he's taken the ball, just in scrimmages and live situations. It's just, he throws the ball over the plate with good stuff. I mean, that's what you want at the end of the game. Plus he's one of the better athletes on the field. So fielding his position is not going to be an issue either, and holding runners and that type of thing. So, with him, he's playing shortstop, and it does that at an extremely high level, and he's very valuable there for us. So we gotta continue to take care of his arm, and he's honest with us about how he feels, and but I mean, he's certainly a guy that you feel comfortable with finishing games.
Is he still a once a weekend type guy? I mean, you threw him on in the last inning of a four game weekend. So obviously, he's got a lot in the tank, but I mean, what's kind of his ceiling for how much you use him?
Yeah, I think that's just going to depend on how he feels day to day. I would like to use him every day, but it also, it plays into it with, like I said, I mean, how much are we willing to sacrifice, him playing shortstop, potentially, those type of things. I would like to think as he continues to build up that we could use him more and more. I think possibly this weekend you might see him twice if the situation dictates it. So we'll just see how it plays out. But I don't want to say right now that he's a once a weekend guy. It worked out that way this past weekend. He had pitched live last week, and we felt like we needed to give him a couple extra days there, so we figured he would probably be at the back end of the weekend, and that's just the way it worked out. And we were going to throw him on Sunday regardless of the score on Sunday. So it worked out that it was not quite a safe situation, but a game that was, had some tension in the late innings.
Evan Bland.
Hey, well, what challenges do you see Ohio State and Iowa presenting, and then what are the extra challenges of preparing for 2 different opponents on a conference weekend like this?
Yeah, they're both have very talented rosters, very veteran rosters. Again, that's going to be a theme. Just a lot of returning players and a lot of really good returning players. Ohio State's got a ton of power arms. Iowa it seems to be a team that's going to have, when it's all said and done, they're going to hit for a ton of power up and down their lineup. Ohio State is, they've got dynamic freshmen in their lineup, but they're veteran, as well. And it just they're probably two of the more talented teams and rosters and experience in our entire league. But yeah, playing two different teams too. I mean, you're looking at two different scouting reports and trying to prepare that way. And you got only a certain amount of time to get that done. And so. It's not what we're used to, but again, we've been adaptable. We knew what we were when they announced the schedule that was going to be what we needed to be prepared for, and we put the work in from a scouting standpoint the last few days, so we'll be prepared on Friday.
All right, guys, two more. Mike Babcock.
Yeah, Coach, was it concerning to you the number of strikeouts your team had over the weekend? And second question, unrelated, did you say that will you go with the same starting rotation this weekend that you did last?
To answer the first part of your question, I would say the strikeouts are concerning when I think they're really momentum shifters when you do it with runners in scoring position an awful lot. When you got a chance to move the ball, to make them make a play with pressure on, it presents a whole another set of challenges for the defense. And on the flip side of that, when that defense gets off the field with a punch out, it seems to bring an extra set of adrenaline to the other side of the dugout. So I would say, yeah, I mean, you definitely want to cut down on the strikeouts if possible. I mean, you hit 300 and, you average 7 runs a game and hit 5 home runs on the weekend. So there maybe is some trade-off there. But I think at the same time, yeah, I mean, you want to make sure you're ready to move the ball when you need to with runners in scoring position. So I would say that would be a bigger focus there is just, the games that we had the big innings, we had 2 strike hits with runners in scoring position. I mean, that's the name of the game, quite honestly. So, we got to clean that up. I mean, again, part of that is all of us are all just jumping right into conference pitching the first weekend, and guys that have been ramped up a little bit longer than usual. So they're going to throw more pitches than typically what you've seen from starters in a first game. So I think all that plays into it a little bit. But yeah, I would like to see us cut down, especially in those high leverage spots there with runners in scoring position. As far as the rotation goes, not sure yet on the exact order how we're going to match up this weekend. We'll probably get that solidified today, but I would imagine you'll see the same 4 guys in some form or fashion.
All right, last one, Cole Peterson.
Hey, Coach. Just want to touch on Jackson Hallmark. Obviously, captain coming into the season. He came in the 8th inning of that final game on Sunday, got that ground ball, showed a lot of emotion there in the 8th inning. What did that do for your team, and what does it show about this group, just how tight-knit they are?
Yeah, Jackson is he's unquestionably our I guess kind of our spark plug, you can say. I mean, he's the most vocal guy. He's always there to kind of get guys fired up, and he's a very selfless player. Just willing, another one of those guys is just willing to do what it takes. And he knew going into this year that we were going to use him as a pitcher. He embraced it. We asked him to play second base last year. He embraced that. We asked him to play center field this year. He's embraced that. The thing you're going to get from him is he's never going to be scared. He's never going to be worried about the moment and failing ever. And we had no hesitation at all putting him in that game in the 8th inning. Even when we got first to third, it was like, well, let's leave him in. Let's see if he can make a pitch here to get us off the field. And sure enough, he'd thrown 2 changeups in a row to the left-handed hitter. He saw a fastball, got the ground ball on that. And, yeah, to see his emotion, again, I talk to our team about it all the time. You've got to – when you're playing with passion, it comes out him coming off the field, I guess if he had just exhaled and taken a deep breath, I would probably worry about him, because I would think that he would be, he's like, man, good thing I didn't screw that up. I mean, I think that's the difference between a competitor and a guy that's just hoping and wishing. A guy that's hoping and wishing, he holds his breath and then, oh, thank gosh I didn't mess it up. He's just thinking, I'm going to make this pitch right here, and he's excited when his teammates backed him up. So that's contagious. That type of stuff is contagious, and that's what we're looking for from all of our pitchers. Again, not everybody's going to show emotion the same way, but we got to compete at the plate, on the mound, and have that presence. And when you get in that mode and you get the job done, the emotion comes out, and everybody in the dugout was fired up too. So that was good to see.